This is a laptop repair we're going to attempt on a Sony Vaio laptop. Now I say attempt because I don't know exactly what's wrong with this thing, and I don't know if we're going to be able to fix it, but we're going to try. If anybody's watching live, you might be at one of two places watching this live. You're either at podnuts.com/laptop videos, or you're at ustream.tv/channel/podnuts. Now, if you're at ustream.tv/channel/podnuts, you could log on with your Ustream name. If you want to join us in the chat room, you're going to see that we have a chat room going on. We do that every live show. And even I embedded the chat room also on the podnuts.com website page, so if you're watching there, you can see the chat room too. If you want to join the chat room, I think you're going to need to log on to Ustream or get a Ustream account, which is free. So, or you could just jump in as a Ustreamer. You're anonymous. You're just called a Ustreamer in the chat room. So feel free to chime in. Keep it nice, keep it clean, and let's see what we can do here today. This computer was sent to me from a Podnuts listener who was having trouble with it. He doesn't even know I'm doing this, actually. I'm not going to read his name, but let's just call him Jack. And he sent a note with this laptop, and here's what the note says. I spoke to you about the Sony Vaio laptop. I mentioned this was given to me with a damaged LCD. Okay, so he replaced the LCD. When he was 90% done with the laptop, he was having a problem with the internal wireless being recognized in the device manager, but still not being able to use it to connect to a wireless network. I proceeded to take another look under the keyboard to see if I loosened a wire or a card was loose. Everything seemed intact, but after reconnecting the keyboard, I was unable to power up the laptop. I have tried the power switch with and without the battery, but get no response. I was hoping you could take a look and resolve the problem. Okay, so it doesn't power on now. That's the problem with this thing. Well, let's just test it here and make sure that his diagnosis is correct. You never know what could happen in the mail when you send these things. It might have bumped back into place. This thing might work, and then that would be a real short repair video, wouldn't it? Whoa, what is going on here? Well, I wasn't sure if you knew, but your battery's cracked. Cracked battery. So let's keep the battery out for now. Oh no, that's not the battery. That's not the battery. I'm sorry. This is the AC adapter. AC adapter's cracked. Well, that's a shame because we need to use the AC adapter. See, I don't know if this happened in the mail or not. That's why I don't like shipping things, laptops in the mail. But let's see what happens here. You might see a spark or two. Test the voltage. The little green light lights up on the plug there. Okay, let's test the voltage. We take the black on the outside rim and the red on the inside. We set our voltmeter to like, trying to get it so you guys can see the voltmeter. Set the voltmeter for like 20 volts. Okay, black on the outside, red on the inside. Test the voltage. And we are getting 15.64 volts, which I think is normal. According to this, yes, 16 volts. If you notice me showing the camera and then moving it around to another spot, that's because I have two cameras here and it's hard to get them both pointing in the same direction. I have one recording in HD, which I'm going to post on Vimeo.com, and then the second one is for the live broadcast. So when you see me switching around like that, I'm just showing both cameras a close-up of what I'm doing. By the way, guys, I want to just announce this now. The laptop repair I did on the gateway that I posted up on the page at podnuts.com/laptop videos. If you've watched it on its early stages, you'll notice that every time I show a close-up, I don't show it to the HD camera. I only show it to the webcam. And you miss a lot of the important stuff. Well, I stayed up for hours and hours and hours last night fixing that. So if you watch that video now, every time I show a close-up, you're going to see a picture-in-picture of the actual close-up that you need to see. So it's all enclosed in one video, and it should be a lot more informative instead of probably annoying like it was probably before. So watch that video again if you watched it the first time, and you'll get to see all the zoomed-in footage. Alright, so we're going to assume that the AC adapter is okay, even though it's cracked. Let's plug it into the computer and see what happens here. Okay, here's the power button. Nothing. No lights, no nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay, so his diagnosis was correct. Okay, let me get a little piece of foam here. I'm getting a piece of foam because I'm going to turn the computer upside down and I want to scratch it. Let's get the battery out first thing. There's a release lever there. There it comes. Let's take a look at the battery, see if there's any corrosion or anything. No. You look right in here, see if there's any corrosion. Nothing. Looks okay. Well, in my experience with this type of laptop, because I've worked on a few like this, I believe there's a ribbon cable, okay, that goes from the power button, then does like one of these moves and attaches in somewhere around here in the computer. And that ribbon cable might just be disconnected. That might be the only problem. So that's what I'm going to try to see. It's not going to be easy because this thing, you have to take it completely apart to get that ribbon cable, I believe. But let's just go for it. Here's where I go crazy unscrewing things. I am an unscrewing madman here. First thing I want to do is just get any extra components out of the machine. You know, the live feed looks a little blurry. Let me see if I can focus it for you guys a little bit. Is that better? That's good enough for now. Is it blurry for you guys? Let me know in the chat room there. Ustreamer says, can I test using a power pack without the battery and testing the battery? Can I test using the power pack without the battery and testing the battery? Yeah, I'll try it. Just for kicks. Let's plug it in without the battery in there and see what happens. Nope. Same problem. It might also be that even though that power pack is putting out the proper voltage, that it's not putting out enough amps. Maybe because since it's cracked a little bit, maybe it's damaged, not putting out enough amps, which would, in fact, not power the machine. So I think, I have a hunch it's this ribbon cable, guys, so that's what I'm going for. Sometimes you just got to go on your gut with these things. Okay, taking out the wireless card now. It seemed like it was in there kind of funny. Okay, maybe it's because of this rubber thing. This is one of those new smaller PCIe wireless cards. It was fitting in there a little funny. Let me just try it without the wireless card in. You never know. We'll try it all along the way here. Still no power. Let's keep going. It could be bad RAM. Let's pull the RAM out. try it again. What the heck? I've seen RAM cause computers not to boot before. Like that. Alright, now how can we get to that ribbon cable? Well, we might be able to get to it from here. You'll see there's a little spot of 3 screws there. And we're going to take that and unscrew that and see what's under there. This job might not be as tough as I originally thought. Right, Al, that's what I'm trying to see. The on-off button might not be connected to the motherboard. Okay, and that came out, little plastic piece. Put that off to the side, and here's the ribbon cable I was talking about. Let's take a look here. There's the ribbon cable I was talking about. Because that is the power button right there. Power button's right here. Here's the other end of the ribbon cable. And all I did was pull that circuit board out. I just pulled out the circuit board with the ribbon cable attached to it. And we're just going to mess around with this for a little bit. Let's see if that ribbon cable is loose anywhere. At both ends. And it looks actually like it's fastened okay here. And it looks like it's fastened okay there. And then you'll see right here, that's where it goes into the motherboard. So that still might not be attached properly. Let me see if I can still get a little bit better focus on the webcam here, guys, for you. Yeah, that's as good as we're going to get on the webcam. Alright. Well, with this out, let me try powering it on again. And then manually just pressing the power button, which is right here, on this little circuit board. Nothing. Still getting nothing. Well, that goes half of my theory. This is a Sony Vaio PCG4J1L. Now I'm just looking at things here. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that's going to jump out at me that's really noticeable about the problem here. Nothing's really jumping out at me like there's any real major out points here. Alright, let's take it all the way apart here. See if there's anything we see. Gonna take it all the way. Oh, here's another thing too, by the way. These ribbon cables, see they're bended in like at 90-degree angles in places. If they keep bending at these folds here, they break the connection on the inside. It might be that this ribbon cable's a little broken. So one way to test that is take your voltmeter and test for continuity along the cable. You just basically take one lead, put it on one end of your LCD or the ribbon cable, and then you touch the exact pin on the other end of the cable and see if you get a beep. Let's try that. Okay, let me test one end here. Yep, that side works. Let's try the other side. That side works. Okay, the cable seems like it's intact, so we're going to rule that out. Let's just put that off to the side for now and just take this whole thing completely apart. Okay. Let's go for it. Start unscrewing things. Like I said, make a note of where the screws go. I'm putting them in a little pile that works for me. I know where they're going. I've taken apart similar laptops like this before, so I know which screws go where. But if you're taking it apart for the first time, position the screws as you take them out. As you take them out, position them so you know which hole you took them out of, so you can put them back in the right spot. See, right now all those screws I took out of the bottom here are exactly the same size. And they all have a little arrow here. So as long as I have a hole with an arrow, I know they're all the same size, so I'm going to keep them in that one pile. And there's also these little rubber nubs here. Sometimes there's screws under those kind of things. So let's pull them off and see if there's a screw under there. Okay, no screw under there. Just put it back. And I think we got most of the screws out from the bottom, so let's see if the top will come off now. Well, actually, I think these won't because the keyboard screws under the keyboard. Now, how do you get the keyboard off? There's two little latches, maybe a few more. There's two little latches. You just got to hit it with a screwdriver. Keyboard should pop right up. Okay, got one of the latches. And then... how come I do not see another one? I just see one. Well, one latch was holding the whole keyboard in. Keyboard's coming out now. Take that out. There is two latches, the other one was just pushed in. It's going to be real hard to see it on the cameras, but right here and right here are two little latches that when you push the keyboard down, they snap the keyboard in. So you just got to push them out a little bit. What do we got here? This is actually the wireless card here. This thing I took out under here might be a WAN card. Probably a WAN card. Alright, let's pop this thing out. This wireless card out. Aha! I see the problem. I see the problem. Jack, we solved it. Pretty sure. Okay, look right here. There is a ribbon cable right there that's not connected. It's right there. I'm trying to get it in view here. That ribbon cable is not connected to the motherboard. And that ribbon cable is this ribbon cable, which attaches to this circuit board, which has the power button on it. Let's connect everything back up. First thing I'm going to do is start putting the screws back in off the bottom here, because that's the problem. That is the problem. That was the problem. Aren't we smart, guys? We figured that all out on our own. Yeah, Al, I had a hunch. I had a hunch, Al, that was it. So I'm just going to start screwing these things back together. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Reliant. Without your support. Without you guys there, you know, honing my concentration into the task at hand, I don't know if I could have done that. Alright, well let's first plug that in. Now, like I said, these go at 90-degree angles. You don't want to break this cable. It's very, very much a pain in the butt if you bend these cables in half and the connection does not make the connection anymore. So, I'm just going to be real careful here. You won't be able to see exactly what I'm doing, but just know that I'm being careful here doing something. Okay, it's in. It's in. Now, let's just, since we got it halfway apart, let's put the circuit board back here and test it out. Make sure it powers on before we seal the whole thing up. Mark is asking why that connection would come loose. Well, Mark, he actually did a repair in this thing, and he probably forgot. I'm just saying he probably did. I'm not going to say exactly what happened, but if I had to guess, he probably, when he was taking the wireless card out and putting it back in, unconnected that cable for some reason and forgot to put it back. So, okay. I know you guys can't see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm just attaching this ribbon cable to another circuit board like it originally was. Okay, that's connected tight. That's connected tight. Let's put this plastic piece back on to protect the ribbon cables. Make sure everything's in properly. Snapped in right there. Okay, I think there's a little piece here just flitting around. Let me get that out of there. Yeah. Just want to make sure everything's I'm very, I guess you could say, anal about making sure everything's perfect before I put things back, because I don't want to take them apart again. There's nothing worse than doing a job and then getting everything all back together and then realizing you missed something and you have to take it apart again. And I can attest that there's nothing worse, because I've done that so many times that I know. And I will continue probably to do it, but I urge you to try not to do it. Alright, I can show you some close-ups now. Okay, I just screwed that little plastic piece back on there. It's back together. And the ribbon cable in question was that mama right there. And that is put back on. So let's power it up. First, let's make sure these connectors aren't hitting something they're not supposed to. These are just the cables, the antennas for the wireless card. Make sure there's no short circuits anywhere, no loose cables hanging out anywhere. There's actually a loose cable here. Let me just pull that out first. This is another antenna off of the wireless card. Okay, they're loosely in the air now. So let's just turn it powered on. Okay, moment of truth, guys. Here we go. There's a lot of glare there. You're not going to be able to see it on the webcam. Let me tilt it. Okay, here we go. You see that green light? That's powering on, man. I'm just going to power it on real quick. Power it off real quick. And then put the whole thing back together and then test it. And we'll let it boot up completely. Yes, Ustreamer, I do motherboard level repairs. If you look at the first video, gateway power jack repair, that's down to the motherboard level. But I don't repair motherboards too much. Usually when a motherboard's fried, it's fried on a laptop. I replace them. Okay, now this is the wireless card that goes here. Let's pull these up. Get that wireless card in there. Push it back down. Okay, that's in there. Let's put the keyboard back on. That snaps in there. Just want to make sure it's in there fully. Snap back down. Okay, it looks like it's in there okay. Let me just put this keyboard in. Slide it in the bottom first, and snap top will snap down. It should. It really should snap down. Let me close that, and then there's one screw that's holding the keyboard in that goes right here. Let's put that in and fasten the keyboard in. Keyboard's in. This I assume is a WAN card. It might be Bluetooth. I think it's WAN. Goes into a PCI slot down here, PCIe slot. And there's two little screws holding that in. Okay. Hook the wires back up to that, and I'll show you guys a close-up of that. Okay, that was the WAN card right there. And you just put the two antennas back on it. And then kind of just tuck them in the way they should be tucked in there. Okay, that's good enough. Nice and tucked in. Put the cover back on that. And we got two more pieces left, and then the second moment of truth. We'll test that again. Make sure everything's Make sure everything's good. You know, one thing you can do if you suspect your RAM slot's bad, you know, get like a clean end of a toothbrush. Just, you know, do one of these in there. Get out any debris that you think's in there. Push that baby down. And then put the memory cover on. Aha. I'm like, what was I missing here? That goes there. Screw that back on. Let's put the battery in. I suspect the battery's just fine. Snap in. This. Out of here. Plug the adapter in. Hit the power button. And celebrate. And that is how you do a ribbon cable repair on a laptop, pod nut style.